Hey y'all, so I am in my office and this week is a midterms week and I wanted to talk about some great tips for students who are taking their midterms. But before I get started, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hey y'all, do you want your student loan balance to look just like this? $0. Y'all know I just paid off my student loans last month. If you want more information on how you can pay off your student loans and the 8 tips that I use to pay off $14,180 in 9 months, click the link in the description box below for your 8 steps to paying off your student loans. It's free. So because I work at a university, like typically around this time, like we see like a huge increase in students who are coming, looking for services during, midterms. And today that's something that I really want to focus on. So as a student, what services should you be aware of, as your midterms are approaching? So the first one is TRIO. So you've probably heard me talk about TRIO before. TRIO is a federal program for students within those first few years who may just need a little more assistance to ensure their success. So they provide one-to-one tutoring. They assist in purchasing students' books. I don't believe, sometimes you may not be able to take the books with you in case another student needs them, but you can read them in their library room or their reading area. They travel in and out of the state that you may be in, going to other campuses for students who may be interested in doing some grad work. And then they also have scholarships. So they have scholarships that are specific to their students. So the main support service that you would most likely be using, as midterms are approaching, would be their one-to-one tutoring services. I know on our campus, students with disabilities also get extra tutoring. So I'm not sure if that's like a campus-wide thing or if that's in all of the TRIO programs. But that is something that is very, very important for you to know. Now, this is not a service that you want to come, during the first week of midterms and you're like, hey, I need some one-to-one tutoring. No, you have to apply for their program through an application process. It's not hard at all. It kind of mirrors FAFSA. So if you've done FAFSA, then you kind of know the type of questions that they'll ask. But this is something that you want to already be a part of prior to midterms or any big test. So if this sounds like a service that would be helpful to you, then make sure that you get signed up with that program. So the next service that's very important, because some students have tests and other students have papers and projects. So that is the writing center. Most universities or community colleges, they have a writing center. Have you taken advantage of the services that the writing center offers? I always tell students, you don't just show up without anything. You show up with an outline of what it is that you've already written. So, you come with something. You should come with a paper. You should come, with some sort of outline or some sort of writing that they can critique and help you to expand upon it. So that's something that you definitely want to take advantage of. Some campuses do it differently. Where during high volume times, you may have to make an appointment or something like that. So you want to, contact your college's writing center and make sure that you get the necessary information so that you can have whatever it is that you need to have looked over so that you can get a passing grade. So another actual person, not more like a service, I wouldn't call it, but someone who you need to be connecting with is your academic advisor. So it's very important, that as midterms are approaching, that you're communicating with your academic advisor if you're having any academic issues, right? Because they're going to be the person who is going to be able to kind of tell you where to go, who to go to, what services may best fit you. But you don't wait until the week of midterms where you already, haven't done well maybe on one. You want to stay in constant communication with them so that around this time, if you have already noticed, any issues that are arising as you're getting ready to take your exams, they will be able to point you in the right direction of what services may be appropriate for you. So counseling is also very important during this time. People are experiencing high level stress. Sometimes these midterms kind of make and break your grade. So there's a lot of anxiety surrounding them. And then folks have like multiple ones. Sometimes they're all on the same day. Sometimes they're every single day of that week. So it's important that, you are monitoring your stress levels, monitoring your anxiety, and that you are taking advantage of counseling. You've already paid for counseling through your student fees at most campuses. So you want to make sure that you show up and get your money's worth. Make sure that you meet with the counselor. Talk about some things, that will really help for you to stay on task. Because things like anxiety, things like stress, those are things that will really kind of steer you away from the goal that you're trying to reach. So you want to make sure that you already have a plan to make sure that those things don't override what it is that you're trying to do. So go to counseling. And then, of course, I always save the best for last because y'all know that I work in student disability services. So, if you are a student who has a disability or you're a student who has kind of heard about accommodations and you feel like you may meet the criteria for that, then you want to reach out to student disability services. This is not something that you wait until the week of midterms to do, y'all. This is something that, as those things are approaching, then you start getting your documents together. Maybe you meet with somebody in that office to see, what it is that you may need that our office could assist you with. But you do want to reach out to student disability services during your midterms week to make sure that you schedule your exams on time. Many times you have to, schedule within a certain days, maybe to speak with your academic or your accommodations, a specialist. We all go by different names, but it's all the same thing. In case there are certain things that they may need to be aware of as far as accommodations. But you definitely want to make sure that during the week of midterms that you are actually using your accommodations. That is so very important. So I've talked about several services here. The most important thing is that these are things that should all be in place before midterms. You don't want to wait until midterms arise and now you're scrambling trying to do something that most likely will not end with the goal that you have in mind. So you want to make sure that you set these things up prior to midterms and that during midterms week that you're taking advantage of each of those services. So if you have any questions about any of the services that I listed, drop down in the comments below and let me know. Also, guys, I am at 344 subscribers, so I want to thank you all, and I want to give a shout out to all of my new subscribers. Make sure that you sign up for my email list. You also get a freebie. It's my 8 tips to getting rid of student loan debt. That is it. That is in the description box below. And then make sure you check me out over at my blog, dukeanddigsdisability.org, where you can find a wealth of information about education as well as adult daily living skills. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.